What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hawk, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Hoops. And in today's episode, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler and the Philadelphia 76ers. So as most of us know, over this past weekend, Jimmy Butler was traded to the Sixers from Minnesota for Dario Saric and Robert Covington, Jared Bayless, and also I believe a pick was involved in that trade as well. Most of the NBA world is excited for this. Most of the NBA world thinks that this is going to catapult the 76ers into a solid top 3 team in the East. Most of the NBA world believes that Jimmy Butler was the piece that the Sixers were missing. And I say most because I don't think it's going to work. And the reason that I think it won't work is the Sixers needed more three-point shooting on their team. Yes, Jimmy Butler can knock down the three, but he's not a three-point shooter. He's someone who had to work at the craft and put in the work in the gym to become the three-point shooter that he is, but he's also not someone who can stretch the floor when Embiid's going to work down in the post. I think the biggest issue that the Sixers will run into with Jimmy Butler being in a lineup is the same issue they've been having all season, and that's spacing. I don't think they'll be able to put enough pieces on the court to really stretch the defense out to give proper driving lanes for Ben Simmons and now Jimmy Butler, but also room to work in the post for Joel Embiid. And I can hear what you might be thinking. Hawk, chill. Jimmy's the shooter. Jimmy's got the strap. Jimmy can stretch the floor. Jimmy's an all-star. He is. He can. He's all of those things. But let's break down Jimmy's stats. On the screen, we have 3 shot charts from last season. One belongs to Jimmy Butler, one is for Ben Simmons, and one is for Joel Embiid. Now, one, I'm pretty sure we can rule out Ben Simmons right away, considering there's basically no three-point shots attempted. But the other 2 are kind of similar. And if you really think about it, I'm sure you could easily tell which one is Jimmy Butler's and which one is Joel Embiid. But 2 things stood out to me the most when comparing Jimmy Butler's shot chart to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. The first thing is Jimmy Butler only shot 3% better from 3 than Joel last year. And Joel actually attempted more threes than Jimmy did last year. And before you say Jimmy Butler was hurt last year, this doesn't count, this is biased. Jimmy Butler played 59 games last season. Joel played 64. So in that 4-game difference, Joel Embiid shot 32 more three-pointers than Jimmy Butler. And don't get me wrong, Jimmy Butler has definitely worked on his three-point shot this season and is shooting better. He's shooting 37% from the three-point line this year, and he's attempting 4.5 threes a game. But we can see from this shot chart last year, the majority of Jimmy Butler's game takes place in the mid-range. Whether that be mid-range pull-ups, post fades, isolations, Jimmy Butler thrives in mid-range, and he's great at it. But offensively, that doesn't help the Sixers' main problem, which is spacing. Now, it's been reported that Wilson Chandler is going to be back in the lineup, and he may help with some of that spacing. But Wilson Chandler also hasn't really been known to be a knockdown shooter throughout most of his career. I will say, though, I am very happy to see Wilson Chandler in the starting lineup over Markelle Fultz. Because when I first heard about this trade, my first thought was if Markelle Fultz starts and the lineup with Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, there's literally no spacing on the floor. So by putting Markelle back to the bench, starting Wilson Chandler and JJ Redick, that will help with spacing a little bit. I think they still could have an issue with some of their spacing and keeping the defense honest. But I'll admit I am excited. I'm excited because they did something. A big knock on the Sixers from this offseason was that they didn't do anything. And going forward, Jimmy Butler shows that the Sixers aren't willing to sit around and wait, and that they want to get better and win now, because they're seeing that teams like the Raptors, the Bucks, the Celtics have gotten better, and they realize they need to step up to the plate. And honestly, if I'm the Sixers, I'm seriously considering trading Markelle Fultz to add some shooting to this team, because I don't know what's going on with him, and I don't think anyone really has an answer outside of Markelle Fultz and maybe his trainers in the Sixers organization, but something is up. The league is on notice that something is up, and you might want to trade him before no team wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Hawks Hoop. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. Follow me on Instagram at Hawks Hoops. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.